Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Global Unmasking, what's hidden in plain sight. So, a lot of you guys know that I do stay in Honolulu, Hawaii, and during this time, there are a lot of fires going on in Maui. Okay, now here's the interesting thing about the update of Maui. The news has said it's about 80 casualties and talking about different things that's happening. Well, what's crazy is the fires in Maui actually came from a dew, a machine that has basically its destruction energy um, weapon. That's what it is. And it's like a laser that shoots laser energy um, using like microwave technology because it heats metal, but the trees made it. So like it took out cars, infrastructure, but left trees. Okay. And many people have been uploading like videos, pictures, so on and so forth of these laser beams that have basically taken out Maui. And it's in like the worst condition Maui is. And it's in the like one of the most financially stable areas. And there's a thing saying that this was a war tactic from either China or Russia, because mind you, whenever an initial war started, how did it start was they bombed Pearl Harbor. So maybe this is another tactic to get America to respond, okay? Because Hawaii is American territory. Now, a lot of people have been donating to FEMA. A lot of people have been donating to like Red Cross and a bunch of different places like that. And the actual stuff that people have been donating is not getting to the Maui residents at all. They're actually holding those donations and not giving them to people. They're actually closing out the roads, not letting people in or out of there. And during the actual fires themselves, they actually cut off the water so that they couldn't, like, even fire trucks that were blowing it down, and were actually kind of getting it under control. The water was cut off, so they could not refill their tanks. So it's a lot of really crazy stuff happening over there. And not to mention, so if you guys are wanting to donate, I would go to your local Costco's, look up local people who do this, not like government or military endorsed people. It's really crazy everything that's happening there. And like I said, they said that the death toll was about 80, and it's not. It's almost thousands of people who are dead in houses. Kids, parents, old people, you name it. I mean, people, there was no fire alarm, there was none of that. And people are really suffering like hardcore there. And, you know, it's just sad because it's really not being posted on the news what's going on. Uh, so that's really crazy. Like they're needing food, clothes. I mean everything. Their houses burned down. Their jobs burned down. So there's a lot going on. So send a prayer. And if you guys want to donate, reach out to local people who are helping the situation. And also reach out to, just reach out to people who are local that can make that enforcement. And as She Joy, we are planning on helping the efforts as well. I'll update more about that. But anyway, on a side note, so what's happening with, did y'all hear about Africa, right? So all of the different countries came together in a meeting to discuss if food was like a necessary thing. Every other country voted yes. Guess who voted no? Yeah, America. They said that yes, food is a necessity, but they are not obligated to make sure that people eat. So they realize that food is necessary to live, but they're not obligated to take care of people. And then the only country that has said this, okay, mind you, we have, homeless people, people starving, like at least 80 to 1,000 people who die in their cars from, not having a place to stay, not having food, things like that, so there's a lot that is happening behind the scenes. And a lot of people know and have, talked about the food shortages and the high inflation and stuff like that. And Kamala said that, inflation is high, but they're also trying to reduce population, from her own mouth. Yeah, she did. I know you thought she shouldn't say that, but she said it. So then, there's this plan going on. If you watch season 1, episode 2, I tell you all about what the plan is and why detoxing metals is important, as we just talked about the microwave technology, the dew machine that they're using. Okay, so go back and watch that if you haven't. Now, so basically what they're going to do is they're going to open some type of camp, right? Like during this food shortage, and like there's going to be some type of event, right? Excuse me, some type of event, whether it's like a sickness or like a catastrophe, whatever it is, where the food is going to be limited, if not scarce, okay? And they're going to make these camps, and they're not going to call it a FEMA camp, okay? They're going to call it something else. They're going to call it like, rescue, or aid, or something like that. They're gonna call it something like that. And the people who go in there, okay, they're gonna tell, okay, we're going to give you food for services, okay? And they're not gonna tell you that you can't leave. They're not gonna tell you that you're now a slave to whatever system that they are trying to put in place. They're not going to tell you these things. But by the time that they do, or by the time you find out, or by the time that those people find out, they're going to be used to it. They're going to be like, well, I've been taken care of, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, it's better this. And then they're going to tell you can't leave because there's, destruction out there, or there's sickness out there, or there's, weapons out there, whatever it is, and to kind of make you feel like you are safe, right? To kind of create a false sense of security there. And so that's something to definitely think about, to look at, and mind you, I am a military spouse, so I definitely, like the military, and I understand that the military is there for people to a degree. Because I don't know if y'all heard about the water crisis that happened here in Honolulu, Hawaii. It happened all around Hawaii, really. There was jet fuel that has spilled, and this has happened a couple times. And the crazy thing about it is that during that time, families have lost kids, they've lost animals, gained sicknesses, gained cancers, and skin diseases, and organs, and like organs going down, and different things, for different people during this water crisis. And there's a lawsuit happening. And the crazy thing is that the military did admit that they have neglected people's needs, and that they, basically that they were wrong. So families are trying to get the compensation that they need for that. This is just one thing. Another, side note to what's going on here in Hawaii. And not only that, but tell me why the bus passes here are now $76 per kid per quarter. Yeah, and so like that adds up, right? Anyway, so it's pretty crazy, all those different things. But like I said, the military is not, the military is here for our defense, right? But the military does what the government says. So as much as you can blame the military, it's really not the military's fault. Um, they have a chief, a commander who, lets them know what to do, what not to do, so on and so forth. So let's just remember that during these times of, you know, struggle and unsure, you know what I mean, of being unsure. But yeah, okay. So now we're going to talk about the CIA agent. Okay? Give me just a second. All right. So, an ex Men in Black, you heard it. Men in Black. CIA agent, right? An ex Men in Black CIA agent of 1989 came out and said that basically that they erase, right? They give you this drug, and he's helped them. They give you this drug that you are injected with for amnesia, to erase the past, to give you a new life. And it's 9 months of programming. You have to kill the witnesses. He actually had to kill witnesses, like taser wanting people, putting them into a natural cardiac arrest, UFOologists, and whistleblowers are the type of people that they would take out. They would take out these people. And no, I'm not a whistleblower. And so they were working with alien hybrids who had like no whites in their eyes. Like, you ever seen like Buffy the Vampire Slayer? And like how their eyes were like that? Yeah. Okay, so they are gray humanoids. Okay, and they had no remorse or guilt about anything that they do or anything like that. They have an agenda and they're trying to reach it. Well, in 1954, Grenada had a treaty for exchange of alien technology. So the Greys, which are the humanoids, got humans for examination, right? For exchange for their technology. So, like the underground pathways and stuff like that, like human trafficking and, tunnels and stuff like that, is where people would disappear. And they would use these humans, they would torture them, they would use them as scientific study, they would eat them, a bunch of different things like that, for technology. And over 8 million kids yearly have gone missing. 1,077 underground installations had people imprisoned of all ages, people imprisoned doing mutations by the alien race. And Lieutenant Charles D. Lennon, which was a human alien hybrid, okay, was actually an agent. He was actually one of the agents who was over this specific project, okay? And in 1994, 160 nations agreed to population reduction, and 6,800,000,000 people went disappearing by 2023. Like 95% of people in certain areas. And the solutions investigated and tested what they did was they made toxic water, giving toxic water to people, fluoride in the water. This happened in Denver, Colorado, Tampa, Minnesota, and many other places, where they let out viruses, diseases, air like barium cyanide, cancer, chemtrails, and by the military, respiratory and immune circulation and sterilization in men to depopulate, right? So to make men sterile, right? And it even goes back to what I was saying in episode 2, where they were putting hormones into the food to make feminine masculine and make masculines feminine, to stop the population growth. Okay, So the human race could essentially face an early extinction because, mind you, if women are going towards men and they're sterile, and men are going towards men and they're sterile, and or even heterosexual couples that are sterile, um, that's cutting out kids, right? Women and women can't have kids. Men and men can't have kids. And, if you're sterile, obviously you can't have kids. So that is the plan to depopulate outside of all the other things that they're putting into work. Okay? Um, and that's why it's important that our heterosexual couples not only stay healthy, do detoxes, and, keep the faith, and make sure that we do our job as the human race to copulate, okay, to have kids, okay? Because their goal is to merge with humans, right? Merging AI and then merging alien with humans, and then change the total annihilation to thermonuclear annihilation. Doing thermonuclear annihilation. I'm not saying that word right. Annihilation. Thermonuclear elimination, basically. Okay? To 500 million people. Or merge with a parasitic entity to build the model that goes off of the world that, basically can restart and bring in that new world order. And they do have like skate pods and things like that. So I mean, it's pretty intense, the things that are taking place during this time. Okay. Yeah. So then we're gonna go ahead and talk about some Nostradamus 2023 predictions. Okay. Number 9 was that the Russian president would die by assassination due to a sickness. We could see that taking place. Number 8 was the Asian empire would fall and be destroyed, which would mess with the whole world. Okay. Number 7 was that a civil war in America, the red and the blue, Republican Democrats. That's what it would be. Number 6, depopulation in Europe due to a nuclear war. In Europe. Okay. Which obviously nuclear messes with our atmosphere. Okay. So if something happens to one, it kind of messes with everything. Okay. Which is why NATO and BRIC were formed, to keep the world going in a better place. Okay. But obviously there's wars that happen. Okay. 5 would be a financial crisis of the world. Like, I don't know, the cryptocurrency, or the transition from one, like maybe the transition from money to a gold-backed currency, or even Fed now, something along those lines. Okay. Number 4, there would be a large migration on borders, which would cause an instability. We've already kind of seen a little bit of that. Number 3 would be climate crisis, which was carbon going up, which would raise the sea levels, which would cause issues like flooding, natural disasters, so on and so forth. Which there's maps that show the surrounding areas that have those conditions. Yeah, that those would go out. Number 2 would be that there would be a new pope that would cause Vatican division, and a religious war. And in 2029, a new pope scandal. Okay. And number 1 would be the UK has a new king who's a good leader and also kind for earth. I mean, so like that was like the one prediction. It wasn't just terrible. Okay. So, yeah. So there's also been like shape-shifting by elites, 5G radio waves that are causing issues, blue lights that's being used as radiation as well to heighten what's going on in the bodies of people. The government is weather controlled by Gerald Dow Jones, controlled by blood sacrificing, and they're saying that the president is a robot. Now, we do know about cloning, we do know about, AI technology, and actually the celebrities. Here's what's crazy. Y'all heard about the celebrities in Hollywood going on a boycott or whatever? That is because they have told these celebrities that they are going to clone them and continue to use their presence, okay, and use their essence, and that they will no longer be needed because they are going to basically have robots of them, clones of them, to do those things. Yeah, and they're not getting paid appropriately for their writings and for their acting and so on and so forth, which caused the boycott. Okay, and you do hear a lot of celebrities talking about this as well. We've seen it throughout time. Like, one could say that it started with Gucci Mane, which it really didn't, but we could say that because that's one person that a lot of people assumed was cloned or AI cloned or whatever. So I mean, these are just things to kind of look out for. Yeah, it's pretty intense stuff that's happening. Pretty intense. Yeah, that being said, you guys, thank you so much for watching the Global Unmasking. Comment below, let me know what you guys think about the content. If there's anything that you would like me to touch on or communicate with you guys about or look into, I'm more than willing and more than able, okay? Yeah, you guys. But anywho, I hope that this has helped. Stay blessed, never stressed, with much peace, much power, much love, much light, and of course, much joy. I'll see you guys next time.